Welcome to another podcast of the current situation at Manchester United. For this video podcast, I'm going to be diving deep into a few housekeeping notes as well as doing the preview for the Aston Villa game in the FA Cup for tomorrow's game. First of all, before I get into all the observe, I want to say a few stuff because 2 years ago, I came on YouTube. Hold on, I came on YouTube as a mediocre nobody knows type of person as it relates to just pushing out content on YouTube as a Manchester United enthusiast. I think it's enthusiast. Yeah, and one of the reasons, like, someone asked me, I don't get much comments on my videos, but there was this comment that asked me earlier last year in 2021. He asked me what was my motivation for going on YouTube. And of course, you know, God bless his soul, but I basically told him, say, yo, this video podcast is based on Manchester United. Ask me stuff on Manchester United, comment on stuff relating to Manchester United. Don't be asking me, why did you come on YouTube for? But to answer that question, I think I answered that question in the following up video, but to answer the question why I came on YouTube as a Manchester United fan, just to talk on Manchester United, is because you have to understand, at the time it was January 2020. At this time, Manchester United was in a deep, as if that's not that's not nothing new for Manchester United. But at the time, Manchester United was deep into a catastrophe. We had players that were very injured. Marcel was out, Rashford was out. We needed a striker. We were linked with Bruno Fernandes. The side needed balance. This was a poor period for Manchester United, and I could have seen the cry on Twitter and on YouTube, the cry of Man United fans. Just issuing out their frustration, is in their irritation as it relates to the current situation at Manchester United. That's why, as you notice, most of my video podcast starts with "Welcome to the current situation at Manchester United." There is a reason why I instill that in my videos, because at the time, in that situation, Manchester United wasn't in the best of form. Although we're decent, we were like in the top four position, but in terms of the squad, in terms of the form of certain players, in terms of the style of play, in terms of the players that were injured, we needed a revelation. We needed some type of rejuvenation, and that is why Bruno Fernandes was signed and Igalo was signed. No, Igalo is just a short-term fix. He's just a paper over cracks. He's just a tape over a major crack that has been in the squad for a long period of time. So that is the reason why I came on YouTube. And of course, if you watch my first video podcast, I was nervous. I was scared. I was like, so, Manchester United is not in the best of form. And I'm hoping, enthusiastically that Manchester... Yeah, so I wasn't, I was nervous at the time, but I grew into my own. I filled out my own boots, isn't it? So, yeah, it's all good and dandy. But when I came on YouTube, not to make this a eulogy or anything, but when I came on YouTube 2 years ago on this day, of course, looking back, I haven't made a huge progress or a huge success in relation to the subscriptions to my channel, but that's okay, because this is a side hustle. Although I'm not making money off of these videos, this is a hobby of mine, is me. So it's not like I'm doing this full time every day. No, I'm not doing no. So yeah, man. So I came on YouTube just to vent my frustration, just to give my opinions on certain situations as it relates to the club, and here I am today. Now, of course, like I mentioned, my channel hasn't grown as much, but that just goes to show you that I'm not doing it for the subscriptions. I'm doing it because, despite Manchester United could be a knucklehead, a frustrating knucklehead at sometimes, I still love them. You see me? So love runs deeper than subscriptions, man. When you love something, man, you're just gonna do it genuinely out of your heart. You see me? So yeah. So here I am today. Now, going into the current situation of Manchester United, into the current affairs of things, Manchester United is not, and this is like the biggest duh, but Manchester United is not in the best in terms of mentality, morality, and basically in terms of form. We're not at a good place right now. we're not at a good place right now. Let me see this. Give me a second. We're not at a good place right now because egos. I've mentioned egos. Hold on. I've mentioned egos in my last video podcast. Egos can prove to be detrimental and beneficial. And when you have a lot of egos, a lot of spoiled brats in your squad, and you want to get the betterment, you want to empower them to get the best out of themselves as a manager, that's going to take quite a task. Because you have to understand this. With the previous manager, that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United's temperature was on comfortability. Now with a manager coming into that squad, lighting a fire under their butt, they have no choice but to lighten up. They have no choice to change their form. They're not at a comfortability right now. So with that lit fire under their butt, they have to stick up and do the work on the pitch. There's some players that are not happy with that. That's why some persons are saying that's why Marcel is hauling us to whatever club that wants him. Because he doesn't want to do the work. No, I'm not saying that's the MO, of Marcel leaving. That could be an argument for another day. But I can see why persons are coming from that angle, because the squad with Ralph Ragnick as manager, yeah man, Ralph Ragnick is kicking the masses, man. No, I'm not saying he's playing the best football right now, but you can see the mentality. You have to understand that Ralph is old school, like Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, or Jose Mourinho. So of course he's going to have that ass-kicking traditional mindset. So when he comes into the squad, he's not looking to be chummy with it. He's like that tough granddad of yours from the 60s. He's going to kick your ass. So the players in the squad are realizing that, and some of them are not cool with that. And another thing is this, man. I just mentioned egos. Harry Maguire has an uphill battle to fight. Although he's captain, I've said this number, man. If you notice, my face is kind of, you can tell that a brother enjoyed himself a bit over the Christmas, so he's kind of looking a bit bloated than usual. But as relates to Harry Maguire as captain, man, my man is not man. He's not a captain, man. He's just a person in the captain's position. He's not a captain by heart, by personality, or by character. This is like when he was. I remember vividly 2 years ago when he was given the captain's armband in the 2019-2020 season when we were playing against a EuroLeague side. This brother forgot, because you know that before the game starts, each captain of each side has to go to the referee just to flip the coin to see which one, what and what. This brother is chilling with his Man United teammates, while the other captain of the opposition side is with referees. That's not a captain, man. I know it's his first time, but that's not a captain, man. And of course, I could go go deep into it, but he's not a captain, man. He's just a person he's just a person in the captain that's wearing the captain's armband, but he's not a captain. So it's clear that he's clashing with CR7, which persons are suspecting to be a virus. I wonder where I heard that from. That's nothing new with Manchester United, but that's a different story. But the club, here's the thing, man. As I just mentioned, spoiled brats. I've seen a few Man United. I'm not going to say their names because some of you guys watch those persons. Some persons on YouTube have basically stated that the players in the squad, all of them needs to be sold. One thing that sticks out with me when a person says that is that person lacks discipline. When I say lack discipline, this is what I mean. If things are not going for you for quite a while, and you've lost faith, you've lost confidence into the players, or in any field for that matter, I can understand that you want to push them away. But you have to understand this, man. We have new players into the squad from last season and this season. You see me? And we have a few players from LVG's time, from Jose Mourinho's time. So to say that you want to just sell them all and just, just put everything into the toy box and just push it one side, I think it's just childish and ill discipline. I see it as this, man. It's like, this might not be the best example, but it's like giving a person a car that's full of money and they just clean it off. It's like I was thinking of an example and go put it on, the video. But yeah, man, I think when you're saying that the players of the squad, like, all of them needs to be sold, that strikes to me that you lack discipline. You see me? Because you don't want to put the work in to work on those players. And it's not like those players were here for like 5 or 6 years. Some of these players just came in, man. So for you to say that you want to just sell them all, and for some of you guys wanted CR7 to begin with, but you're changing house now, you're changing course now, you don't want CR7 no more. What does that say about you as a fan? Some of you guys were enthusiastic, really leaning over the moon, over the bananas when CR7 came into the squad. Now when things are not looking his way, you want to push him away. Why are you doing that? How critical, how hypocritical are you for doing that? Because see, some persons were hip to the game, man. Some persons were woke enough to know that CR7 has a tendency to clash with certain players into the squad. And to bring him into the squad, you see me, all we needed, but I don't think we needed a striker to begin with. But we brought him here, we knew that he was going to clash with a few players. That just comes with the territory of CR7, man. Like I told you guys, man, CR7 is not just a brand, man. That's an ego, man. I think he should brand his own ego as CR7. That's an ego in itself. So to bring this ego called CR7, by the way, he's going to be tussling and fighting with a few players. When he was at Real Madrid, he wasn't the best. Although on the field, you could tell that he wasn't having the best relationship with Gareth Bale. But you could tell that him and Bale wasn't really on the same wavelength, man. Even when Bale was outperforming him and getting goals more than him, he wasn't feeling that. And when his teammates score goals, you could see his reaction. He's not really celebrating. You see me? So to bring this person into the squad. Now, I'm not saying he's the full-fledged problem, but I'm saying he's part of the problem. Like someone said, I think it was Saeed on YouTube. Shout out to Saeed. Saeed was basically saying that CR7 is not the problem, but he's a part of the problem. So yeah, I agree with that assessment wholeheartedly. But bringing this full circle to this squad, man. This squad is almost 10 years we haven't won the league. This squad needs a divine intervention. You have players that believe that they are the players, the players to be worshipped, great players, but they just have a brat mentality. They are spoiled. They're spoiled. Persons are saying that Luke Shaw is a rat for leaking out information to the press. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know the backstory to that. You see me? But the squad in itself, the individuals in the squad, and the captain we have right now, this is not Manchester. This is not the Manchester United of old, man. Because look, bro, even I don't even see why egos are clashing in the squad. Now, if you're a great player and you're clashing, I can't see the reason why. But dude, even in 2003, 2004, when you had the names of Ruud van Nistelrooy, David Beckham, Varane, Roy Keane, there was no clashing of egos, man. And those players right now, compared to the players we have now, are way better. So it goes to show that these spoiled brats, are spoiled because of the lovey-dovey relationship they had with Ole in the past, and seeing that a kicking in the ass, manager has come into the squad now, they don't want they don't want to do the work. So they're crying, they're whining, they're complaining. So that works? So right now, bro, we have to get out of this fat girl mentality, man. Yeah, we have to come out of that, man, because if you want to compete and beat, the best, man, you have to come out of the race mentality. Leave that for little girls, man. We are men playing football. We as if I'm a professional player. But yeah, man, yeah. So again, going into the news, cause let me just continue this rampage for a bit. The squad needs to be settled. Harry Maguire doesn't have the mentality or the personality to control the squad. There are questions looming around the heads of Man United fans, questioning if Ralph Rangnick is able to control the dressing room. This is a big question mark, epiphany question mark over a lot of Manchester United heads, including mine. Because I'm very skeptical of how much of a man he is to control the squad. That squad is not easy to control. And it's not even like it's a top tier squad. This is a squad filled of spoiled brats that believe that they're on top of the mountain when they're not even halfway through the mountain, even if some of them don't even start climbing on the journey. But they believe that they're the best players. And that I don't get that, man. Like that nah. But right now, man, right now is a good time to really see who the leaders are. Because in this predicament, in this embarrassment, we can see the leaders shine. The leaders, the hey, I have to excuse me with my words. I'm not so good with English words. The true full-fledged leaders are going to shine. They're going to evaporate from that situation. They're going to show themselves. You see me? Personally are saying Bruno Fernandes is a leader, which I concur with. CR7 personally saying that CR7 is a leader. They saying this the national team, so plus if you're having a captain that's whining, if he's not scoring after 90 minutes, that's not my captain. I don't want my captain to be whining, man. I don't want my captain to whine. That's childish. If things are not going your way, but you're whining and crying, and you're a captain, you're not a captain, man. You're not a captain. I'm not saying that you should be this cool person that allows things to happen to you and you're just cool with it when you're not really cool with it. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, and if you're just whining and crying, if you have lost, if you're whining and crying because you have drawn, that feels like a loss. If you're whining and crying because you're not scoring, you're not on the score sheet. And I mean, come on, bro, you're better than that, man. Be mature, man. I mean, you have like 4 or 5 kids, man. Be better than that. So I mean, CR7, I'll say this, man. In terms of leaders, you have different leaders. Persons talk about alphas, talk about they talk about sigmas. I would say CR7 is the type of leader that should not be capped with the captain's armband. Because there are leaders that don't need the captain's armband. There are leaders that don't need the captain's armband. This is me. There are leaders on the pitch that don't need the luxury, the camaraderie of having the captain's armband on their left hand. They can still lead. Now, I believe that Bruno is a real leader. Although he can be frustrating at times, you see me. But Bruno is one of the best leader in the squad right now. Because he shows leadership. And the reason why people see Bruno as a leader, because even when he doesn't have the captain's armband, he's shown leadership characteristics on the pitch. You don't get a leader because you're a good football player. That's not the sentiments Man United should be basing their criteria on based on a leader. We're better than that. So, hold on. So, in terms of leaders, man, I believe Bruno, although Bruno has dirt on his shoulders as well, he's not a clean soul. But Bruno has shown fight. He's shown that he should, and I've done a video almost 2 years ago in 2020 why Bruno Fernandes should be appointed as the captain. Because, bro, I've seen Harry Maguire. When Marcel was sent off against Tottenham Hotspurs almost 2 years ago, I think that's when I did the video why Bruno should not be a captain. Harry Maguire, who was wearing the captain's armband, was having his hands at his waist. You see me, like he was cussing out someone, and he was not confronting the referee about the situation. Now, whether or not Marcel should have been sent off, that's a different question. But get your ass in that situation, bro. You are the captain. Confront and defend your own player. That is not a captain. That's not a captain, yo. That's not a captain. That's not a captain. He's not a captain. He's just a show star and he's not. He's just a showster, a meme showster with the captain's armband. We're looking embarrassing as this guy is our captain. So let's get into a few, Manchester United news. Barcelona makes 27-year-old Man United star number one priority if they fail to sign Haaland. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is a striker, so I don't see how he can replace Haaland if they fail to sign Haaland. But Barcelona, for some reason, are interested in Bruno Fernandes. I think the reason why Xavi wants Bruno Fernandes is for the reason I just said. When Xavi was at Barcelona as a player, he was the ultimate dude. He was the leader. He was a leader. No, you could boil the success down to Lionel Messi, but ultimately you have to take into consideration the leadership of Xavi. So Xavi knows a captain when he sees one. He knows a leader when he sees one. So for him and Barcelona to be interested in Bruno Fernandes, that's not surprising to me. Because I look at this squad of Barcelona right now, and there is no leaders in that side. There's no leaders in that side. PK is not a leader. Who else? Yeah, man. So I don't see no leaders in the Barca squad, man. But bringing this full circle to Manchester United, Manchester United should hold on with gripped arms onto Bruno Fernandes. Now, we know that he's not in the best of form, but let me inform you something. He's the best player we have in the squad in terms of mentality. There's no other player in the squad that has a better mentality than Bruno Fernandes. CR7 is a close second because, CR7 has been getting hate to his name since when he was at his first tenure at Man United in the early to late 2000s because persons think he was arrogant and cocky. But yeah, man, in terms of right now, Bruno is the best player that we have right now that has the best mentality. So we have to keep him. Yeah, we have to keep him. And again, and I've said this before, man, Bruno Fernandes should be made captain. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to make mistakes, but at this moment in time, given the options of who should be captain, he's supposed to be captain. So, Barcelona, we should not give Bruno Fernandes, at least not on the cheap, or never, Bruno Fernandes to FC Barcelona. That's not going to be a good look. The next piece of news we have is Ralf Rangnick admits he could copy Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactic. The former Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer often deployed a back three at Old Trafford, and his successor Ralf Rangnick is considering using the tactic. I think he's watching my videos, and I think Ralf Rangnick, I know that I don't get a lot of views on my videos, but I believe that Ralf Rangnick is watching my videos and taking heed. He's taking his notepad, his German notepad out, and his German cap. And he's writing notes because he watched my videos. I've said this, bro. I said that Manchester United in the latter stages of Ole as a manager using the back three, employing the back three, the 3-5-2 formation. Manchester United was in a good run of form with Cavani and CR7 up top, with Bruno in the hole as the number 10, and the 5 that's across the midfield, and the 3 at the back. So for him to be saying this, bro, at least give me some credit, bro. You got it from me, man. Or you got it from some other Man United fans that's basically saying stick with the 3 at the back formation and the 5 in the midfield and 2 up top, and the attacking midfielder behind the strikers 2 up top. So yeah, man, at least give me some credit, man. Don't be running, don't be just taking it and running away with it as if that came from your own head. You got that from me, man. But in terms of, yeah, I would say this. I would say you can follow the formation, but don't follow the tactics behind the formation. Because for one, although we're getting a run of form, you have to understand that not Barcelona, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't have an implemented system or style of play that was pushing the three at the back formation, the 3-5-2 formation. You see me? No, I'm not saying that he was getting it based on luck, but the players are good enough to fill out the 3-5-2 formation. You see me? But I don't believe Ralph should employ the exact tactics, because I mean, why are you going to employ the tactics of a manager that got sacked and he was a failure? I mean, you want to be a failure too? Is that what you see as yourself? And you're much of a manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ever was. So, yeah, man, you guys have to think that out, man. Cause see, we have a game tomorrow, which I'm going to get into in a few minutes, because I don't want this to be a long rant. Yeah, so I'm behind. Well, I said it first, bro. I'm behind. I'm behind the 3-5-2. But just to say that, man, I don't believe Man United should be employing the exact tactics, if there was any, by the way, anyway, of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer by Ralph Ragnick. I don't think he should be doing that. Unacceptable. Man United slammed by pundit after update on dressing room mutiny. Now, basically touched upon this about like 15 minutes into this video podcast. And you see, it's all good and dandy. Let me just touch upon this. It's all good and dandy to go for the best players in the world. But as the saying goes, too much of one thing can be a bad thing. If you're going to have this squad stacked with stars, they have marquee names behind their names. If you want to be the next, Real Madrid of the early 2000s, matter of fact, let me say this. The success behind the Galacticos at Real Madrid was not really much of a success. They won one Champions League. They have won at least till 2004. I think they won one Premier League. They won La Liga, not one Premier League. Yeah, man, and that's unacceptable given the players that they had. One league title and one Champions League, and I think one domestic cup as well. That's unacceptable. That's not even satisfactory, man. That's not an S that's supposed to be on your report card. Given the squad that you have, man, you should be better than that. So, imagine this with me. If you have a squad stuck with stars, man, and you're trying to be the best, understand that you're going to have a good amount of players that are not going to be cool with that. Because you see, with Zidane and Beckham, one of them, and let me say this, Zidane, Beckham and Figo, all of them are attacking midfielders, all of them are attacking players. But one of those three players had to be more disciplined, have to sacrifice and compromise their style of play, how they play as a player, to do more dirty work in the midfield of Real Madrid. That's not going to sit well with your top players, man. It's not going to, because as much as you want to win trophies, have the best players to win trophies, that could work to your detriment, not too much of your success. Because I would this is a personal opinion of mine. I would prefer to have at least 8 average players, or at least 7 average players in the squad, and have at least 3 to 4 above average players / top players into the squad, and all of those players benefit in a system altogether. That's what I would prefer. Because right now it doesn't make any sense to sign the best players in the world when you don't have an implemented system. You're still questioning what formation you're supposed to use. That's not going to look good, man. It's not going to look good. Because if you have the best players and you don't have a system, those quote-unquote best players are going to look average. And on the flip side, you can have the most average players, but if you have a system that's beneficiary to the average players, they're going to look like above average players, although they're average players, because of an implemented system. All boils down to the system, and you cannot play good football without a system, man. You just can't. There has to be a mitochondria, to use a biological term. There has to be a powerhouse. There has to be a force behind your formation. You can't just be playing a formation, man. You have to have good tactics behind your players to fill out what you want them to fill out on the football pitch. You see me? So that's football one on one, man. But as relates to the dressing room, let's bring this full fledged to Man United. Yeah, as relates to the dressing room, we know that the players are not on one accord. We know that they're not on the same wavelength. We know that is me all they're not singing on the same pitch. They're not singing in sync. Is me? So all of them are barking at each other like hungry hound dogs. And if we want to continue like that, we're not going to be a successful side. I've mentioned at the start of the season. Before the season started, I basically said that we have the best squad since 2009. And I still believe that wholeheartedly. We have the best individual players in this squad. This is probably the best squad we have had since 2009. And what are we doing with the best squad since 2009? Because I think of the squad when we sold CR7 and Rooney was our main man with Berbatov, but Rooney was the main man leading the goals. Come on, but we had Nani, we had someone pass gigs that was playing in midfield. We had Darren Gibson, we have a good Valencia on the right hand side. But look at the squad we have now, man. That's better than that squad, man. Not by a long shot, but it's better. It's better. We're in a best position. This is the best option, not the best option. This was, and I said past tense because what I'm saying right now is what I said before the season started. Not when we were like 20th, but not when we were like leading. Not let me say that again. Not when we were trailing by 20 points to City, man. You see me? So this was said before the season, and I'm saying this. This is what I said before the season. I said, with the squad we have right now, with the players we have right now, we should be challenging Man City and Liverpool for the title. And Chelsea, I say Chelsea because Chelsea, although they have been dropping points, Chelsea is still a top side, man. Still a top side. So, hold on, stop right there. So. Why do you think Pep Guardiola fell out with Ronaldinho and Eto'o when he came as manager at Barcelona? Let us change the tracks for a minute and go into the troops and camp of Barcelona. Well, I've been in the camp for Barcelona for a bit because Bruno Fernandes has been linked to Barcelona. Let us go back in time for a bit. Why do you think Pep Guardiola wasn't feeling players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Samuel Eto'o, and Ronaldinho? Why do you think my man basically went on his high horses and promoted Sergio Busquets and Pedro from the youth academy to start in his main squad and to bench these players and sell them? Why do you think that? Because Pep Guardiola, even at a young age in his managerial career, knew that egos can be to your detriment. If you ask a player, because see, the Barcelona squad, not saying that it's full of, obedient, submissive sheeps that follow, the managerial, what he asks for you to a T, but they still have good players. But the fact is that if you have 2 or 3 big egos in that squad, that could lead to why I think Real Madrid lost. Why I think Real Madrid was always mostly second best to Barcelona from 2009 to 2000 up until Pep Guardiola left Barcelona. Why I think that? For one, you have a big ego like Mourinho. CR7 has a big ego. Benzema seems humble. Di Maria seems humble. And I'm pretty sure you have a few ego. I'm pretty sure Xabi Alonso has a few ego on him. And Sergio Ramos, don't even get me started on that. So, of course, man, that squad, of course, it's not going to beat a squad that's good as Barcelona, man. Not only in terms of talent, but also in mentality. The reason why Pep Guardiola pushed out Ronaldinho, not because he was not only because he was getting fat and he was losing, his form as a top player. That was a part of, the criteria, but also ultimately he sold him because he wanted the best out of his players, and he knew that he was not going to get the best out of a past Ronaldinho. Plus, Ronaldinho, despite his smile, as Martin Teller would say, his smile is as wide as a football pitch. He had an ego. He had an ego. At PSG, I watched this documentary of Ronaldinho, and the manager that was managing Ronaldinho at PSG told, the persons in that was doing the documentary of Ronaldinho that in his second to third season, Ronaldinho was out partying, and this was a very young Ronaldinho. He said that in the best games, Ronaldinho was up for it, but well, everybody knows the French league already. In the other original in games, he wasn't taking the game seriously. He was not taking the game seriously. And that same mentality went to Barcelona. In his first 2 seasons, Ronaldinho was the ultimate king of not only Barcelona but of football period. From 2004 to 2006, he was the man that done the tricks. He's the real king. Since 2006 up until 2007, that's where he just started to descend from heaven. Amen. And he became an original normal player. So he came off his high horses up from them heavens onto common ground on earth. And he got sold because of his lifestyle. Because he has an ego on him. You see it? So everything was like persons are talking down on mentality, bro. Hey man, listen. If you have a weak mentality and you want to be a top tier footballer, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So with Ronaldinho, that's why Pep wasn't feeling Ronaldinho and Zlatan. He doesn't want those big egos in his squad, man. He wants players that have a humble heart, that their heart is open to listening to the statics of managers. Now, I don't know what Barcelona, signed Zlatan for. I think it was a swap deal with Eto'o to Barcelona or something like that. But anyway, he doesn't want egos, man. But Jose Mourinho, whether he can manage big egos or not, Pep Guardiola, that's a different story. With Mourinho, you have seen Mourinho, basically, some of them, calm down the big egos in football, but he wasn't winning as much trophies as he could have. He wouldn't. Man, I'm mixing up myself. Mourinho has a big ego, so he can manage big egos himself. But the fact is that if he was more changing upon the players that he really wanted, players that have an open heart, don't have a big ego on him, he would have won as much trophies as Pep. He would have won as much trophies as Pep. But see, Mourinho loves big egos, man. He loves his leaders. That's why some of you guys have questioned his transfer policy, getting 30-year-old players and players that are 6'4". That's just Mourinho. So bringing this full circles to Manchester United, before I get to the preview against Aston Villa, you have to understand that if this squad wants to move on, some players have to eat the humble pie and just settle. They have to settle. And for players that believe that they're good players, yeah, but they're basically spoiled brats, you guys need to go to a training session or something, man, in the camp, like out in the south, man. You guys need to. If this group of players want to win anything this season, bear in mind this is Paul Pogba's arguably last season. He's running out of contract in the summer. If we don't win any trophies this season, we're out of the Carabao Cup. We're still in the FA Cup because the FA Cup is going to start in Manchester United tomorrow against Aston Villa. We have no placement into the category of winning the Premier League. The Champions League is quite an ask because, we have to beat what's given to us in the Champions League. Manchester United is not in a good place to win trophies this season if we are staying and sticking with this childish, egotistical, entitled mentality. We're not going to go anywhere with that mentality. Look at how great, not to spend time on Barcelona, but to admire them in terms of, look at the great players that play for Barcelona. Xavi Hernandez, Iniesta, Lionel Messi, as great as a player Messi was, Messi didn't have a big ego. He has an ego, I'll give you that, but it's not a big ego. It's not a big ego to the point where he's not going to follow through on what is asked of him from the manager. He's not that. When Messi played as a false nine, he was the best as a false nine. Messi played on the right. Messi played in midfield. He followed suit with what was asked of him. No, everybody knows that Messi is very adaptable and dynamic and very integrated, so he can play in different styles and positions. But that didn't change Messi from being this big egotistical bubble that cannot be burst. Think about that. You have PK. I mean, PK has an ego, but PK is PK, right? Mascherano didn't have no big ego. Mascherano could play as a defensive midfielder and as a centre back, and he just followed through with what was asked of him. Alves have an ego, but he didn't put it to the position where it prohibited him from not following the manager. So of course you're going to need some of your big heads in a squad, but don't let it get to the point where your squad is overthrown from the boat. That squad is the reason why Real Madrid, don't even think Real Madrid wasn't a good side. They were a good side with CR7 at his peak, with Benzema, with Khedira, with Xabi Alonso, with Carvalho, Sergio Ramos, all of them. The difference was that one side was humble and the other side was not. That's the basis. That's the basis. So before I get into, hold on, I think I have a few. I don't want this video to be long. So before I get into the preview, I just want to say this, man. We have a lot of players that are good in the squad. We have some players that believe that they're good players, but they're not really not. They just have an entitled, spoiled mentality. I mean, they can fake it till you make it, but if you're thinking like that all the time, bro, it's not a good look, especially for morale. It's not going to be a good look. So what Manchester United is supposed to do, as if I'm some advisor for Manchester United, right? As if I'm some football advisory, is to just eat a humble pie. Yes, it's hard to take one on the chin and say, okay, I'm not as good as I think I am. That's not easy to do. It's not easy to acknowledge that you're not good enough as you think you are. And for CR7, yes, you're one of the best number 7s to grace the game of football, but you have to consider your current form. You're not in the top 10 right now, best players in the world. You're a washed player. You know that. That's why you're hell bent on getting goals to cover up your poor performances. You know that you're not the same CR7 as in your prime when it was in 2009. You're not the same CR7 as in 2011. You're not the same player. You know that you're not the same player. That's why you want the goals, the stats to cover up your poor performances, and that's why you come off the pitch like a spoiled bitch. That's why. If you don't change your mindset, as you came here, quote unquote, by you to win trophies to show that you're not this, that your engine is still working behind, that you still have gas in a gas tank that can help you to compete at the top tier level in Premier League football. That's what you claim. But if you want to live up to that claim to fame, you have to work on your mentality, man. You have to work on that mentality. Bruno Fernandes, you're a good youth, you're a good captain. That is not the captain. But all of you guys in the squad, man, personally, I say Mason Greenwood is into the Clash of Lions. I ain't go comment on it because I don't know how true that is. Right now is a time to look at Manchester City, my youth. You don't see Manchester City be doing. Maybe they have a good confidential person that's keeping, their clashing of egos together on the down low. You see me? So they don't have no rat or snitch in the squad to leak out to the press that, hey, Kevin De Bruyne is clashing with Mahrez. Kevin De Bruyne is clashing with Jesus. They're not doing that. They're humble on top of the mountain in the Premier League. Did Yeah, man. So we have to look up top because our redemption draws nigh, right? So we have to look up top, but we have to look upwards and take a lesson out of our noisy neighbors, as much as it might hurt. That's the reason why City has won at least 4 Premier League trophies in 5 years, if not 4 in 5 years. At least at least 3 in 4 years, something like that. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So in order to be the best, before I get into the preview, it's best to eat a humble pie. It may not taste nice because it's been humble. And when some person believe when you're humble, that means you're weak. Well, if that's the case, then City wouldn't be winning the trophies that they have won. And definitely Barcelona with Pep wouldn't have won the trophies that they have won. So if you want to chalk up humility to being weak, then be weak. Be weak. Be weak and win some trophies. Although Ralph Ragnick is not playing a good football, this is my last point before I get into the preview. Although Ralph Ragnick is not playing the best football with this squad, whether or not the players want to fulfill what Ragnick is asking to begin with is a different question. But the approach he's taking to the players in the dressing room is good because he's pissing off the players. He's letting that fire under their butt to get up and do work. Some of them don't want to be doing that work. It's good. Despite him not getting the best out of the players and not playing the best football, or this gen pressing or whatever, with his erected penis formation, the fact that he's putting players on their asses and exerting them to work hard is good. Because that's how you're going to test the players if they're with you or not. The last thing for a manager to have is players that are against his will. Because when those players are against his will, that's when the manager will be sacked. So the manager needs trust from the players to fulfill his prerequisite, his criteria on the football pitch. As a manager, you can't just be good at tactics. You have to be good with dealing with persons on an everyday basis. Different characters, different personalities, different communication styles. All of this matters to a manager, not just tactics. This is the reason why Sir Alex Ferguson will be forever praised in football. Of course, he's good at tactics, but he's also good with one-to-one interaction with persons. He knows when to be hard. He knows when to be, not soft, but understanding. Put a hug around your shoulder a bit and talk up some game with you. He knows when to adapt. That takes social awareness. That takes social intelligence. You can't be a knucklehead up here doing that type of stuff. So I am appreciative of Ragnick's old-fashioned approach, putting players on their ass to work. Now let us transition into the preview as I finish this video podcast against Aston Villa tomorrow. Aston Villa recently appointed Philippe Coutinho as a player of theirs for the rest of the season on loan. Now Aston Villa, given their new manager, that is Steven Gerrard, Aston Villa has somewhat transformed. They're looking to perform. They're looking to, get on the good side of things. And they want form. So they know the poor performances of Manchester United. They know that Manchester United is not in a good situation right now. So they are looking to pounce and bounce on that situation. And with Coutinho in the squad, with good players in the squad, given that Steven Gerrard hates Manchester United because he's from Liverpool, he's a Scouser, he's going to make it. Let me see if Manchester United is going to be playing at home or away. Give me a second. Aston Villa versus Manchester. Because if we are playing we are playing at Old Trafford. And we're going to be playing at Old Trafford And it's not like in lockdown where the stadium was empty. No. So this is going to be a jam-packed stadium. If Aston Villa scores tomorrow and wins tomorrow, Steven Gerrard is going to celebrate. We have seen Steven Gerrard kiss the camera when he scored against Manchester United as a player. Don't think you won't be seeing that tomorrow if they don't lose or if they win. If they win, he's probably going to be doing that. He probably has that in his back pocket. So tomorrow, Manchester United, at least let us go for this trophy. Let us go for this trophy. We don't know what it's going to be like in the Champions League. Well, the Premier League is out of our reach. Let us go for the FA Cup. Let us at least get some silverware. Let us get some silverware, man. We haven't won the silverware. We haven't won a silverware since Donald Trump was in his first year as president in the United States. And that's a long time because he's out of office now. And we haven't laid hands on a trophy. We haven't won a trophy. So right now is a good chance for us to prioritize and minimize our priorities in the FA Cup. Although it's not a big, it's not a big trophy. At least win this cup, man. See, this is going to, I don't want this video to be longer than it already is, but this is going to test the character, the dynamism of Ralph Rangnick. Because if you want to win a trophy, listen to me, you can't, well, you probably might, let's see, win a trophy with Man United as manager of Man United in the Champions League. That's a big ask. But, man, I lost my train of thought. That's something you should never do as a podcast host. But, given the players that we have in the squad, we see some players are not happy with their game time. So this is the right time to be playing those players into the FA Cup, although you want to try prioritize it to win, at least win a trophy, as well as managing the Champions League, being the Champions League and being in the Premier League. See, it's hard to manage all those three competitions at once. So this is going to test the character, the managerial character of Ralph Rangnick as manager. So in the preview, before I get on to another soapbox, so yes, Aston Villa might stir up a fight tomorrow. That's an understatement because they hate Steven Gerrard hates Man United and he's looking to gain points from Manchester, not points from Manchester. We have to play Aston Villa in the Premier League after we play Aston Villa in the FA Cup. So that's quite funny, isn't it? But Steven Gerrard right now is looking to advance to the next round to beat Manchester United with Aston Villa. So right now we should be starting some players tomorrow, man. That should be getting not only game time. Tomorrow is the right time to be playing with the three at the back formation. Not with this erected penis formation, man. I ain't dealing with that. I don't like that. This is me. I love the female puppetitude of a woman. So I'm not going to be sticking with no erected formation. So it's best for us to be playing with and Dean Henderson has been making noise into the news based on what has been said. It's best to play Dean Henderson tomorrow, despite David De Gea's incomparable form right now. As the right wing back, I'm going with a 3 at the back, 5 flat in the midfield, and 2 up top with the number 10. As the right wing back I don't trust Wan-Bissaka at this moment. Play Dalot. Eric Bay is gone to the Africans Cup of Nations. Excuse me. With Lindelof, unfortunately, I would like Jones to start tomorrow. And Varane. So that is the back three is Phil Jones, Varane, and Lindelof. In the midfield, or as a left wing back, is Alex Telles. In the midfield is Matic. I would like Matic to stay in the starting 11, although we know that his engine is kind of getting old because he's about 34 years old right now and he's on the verge of retirement. But he's the best option we have right now. As it relates to settling the midfield and with discipline as well. So I would have Matic and Donny van de Beek start tomorrow, right? And that's how much diff. Oh, I have to in still another midfielder. No, wait. Oh, yeah, the number 10 is Bruno Fernandes. I like Bruno Fernandes to start tomorrow. Up top is Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford. Martial and Rashford has a decent understanding. They have been having a decent understanding since LVG's last season and Martial's first season. And that has continued, excuse my English right there, so, until Martial had his best ever season for Manchester United 2 seasons ago. And him and Rashford finished on the same wavelength in terms of goals in all competition. So it's obvious that they still have a decent understanding, man. So let me just bring it back from top to bottom. Dean Henderson, Dean Coombs. I call him Dean Coombs. Dalot as right wing back. Rafael Varane, Phil Jones, and Lindelof as the 3 centre backs. Alex Telles as the left wing back. We have Matic. We have Donny van de Beek in the midfield. Number 10, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Martial. Those 3 players was the reason why we finished the season well 2 seasons ago. It's me, yeah. So that's my formation. My prediction is that we beat Aston Villa. It's quite an ask given our form, but my prediction is that we beat Aston Villa 2-0. I'm not going to go for the hills, but I'll just stick with the 2-0 victory. Leave your comments down below. Like and subscribe to the channel and click that bell as well for future updates on Manchester United. I'm out. Until tomorrow, I'll be doing a match reaction. I believe, yeah, I'll be doing a match reaction. Peace. I'm out. Peace.